Michael that she could, or Harold.
They're awfully busy people.
I think that would be a great question.
Sure.
Sure, it sparks when you're trying to save the world together. Anything can happen.
Thank you.
Thanks. Next question. No more gifting.
My name is Zoe. Well, not that Zoe. So every woman Reese love died in this show. So Jessica, Carter, and maybe Cara, we do not know. So my question is Reese able to love again? Because we can see the chemistry between Reese and the new captain.
Reese?
My question?
Was that Reese and the new captain?
Well, Reese love again. I think you just want a kiss.
Yes.
Next question, Greg.
And the no gifting only applies unless they have a fuss. Reese is kind of, I think, turning into Elvis here. Anyone wants to use it?
Do about that. Hello there.
My name's Richard, big fan of the show. I think it's the best show on television right now. Am I not on?
The mic fixed.
I think the mic died, but I'll project. So, you guys film around my neighborhood all the time. I live in Williamsburg. You guys are actually filming around the corner from my house tomorrow. I really hope to run into you guys. The last time you were there, I was at work. But my question is, you kind of touched on it before, but can we expect to see a group like Vigilance or Vigilance itself return anytime sooner in upcoming seasons?
Sure, I mean, never say never. Samaritan Vanquish Vigilance actually used them. It was a construct created by Greer, but there's no doubt that I think a lot of people are getting hip to the idea that the NSA has all your selfies. And I think now, the surveillance state was the prevailing theme of this show in the first couple of seasons. We think now, the biggest thing coming out around now is artificial intelligence. Ray Kurzweil has been brought into the Google house, and we think this is the next Manhattan Project that we're talking about here. And as soon as people get hip to it, it may be too late. So there's always room for another group who understands this, who understands the importance of privacy, and wants to do something about it. So yeah, certainly we're here.
With Greer, because it turned out that he was pulling so many strings last season, are we going to maybe get even more insight into his history and all that led up to this?
How about some Greer flashbacks?
There you go.
Next question.
Compared to previous questioners on this side, I'm going to be a little bit boring.
No kiss, man.
My question was about Roots. It was initially Roots' always idea of unchained, unconstrained artificial intelligence, and Samaritan is pretty much exactly that. Will there be temptation for Root to go over to the other side, and would you want to sort of portray that if you could?
I feel like it was more, yes, but she was always trying to set Harold's machine free. I don't know if, I feel like she had a little more knowledge about what he built and had more trust in this specific machine. But no, I don't want to go with Samaritan.
Is it roots firmly Team Machine, right?
You know, the interesting thing, when Greer and Root had an interaction last season, some of the things that he was saying is you and I are not all that different. We want a lot of the same things. But I think what Root is going to discover this year is the difference, the fundamental difference between Samaritan and Harold's Machine, and why it becomes an extremely disillusioning thing for Root this season.
Next question over here.
I'm not sure if I lost my mic again, but my name is John. I'm a huge fan of the show. I mean, especially the fans believe in people since I just love that you're going full bore AI versus AI. But the question here I have is for Greg. Up in the narrative recently, especially in the news, and you guys have been following it, is the idea of authority and power surveilling the citizenry. Now, I mean, really, over the last couple of months, we've seen it the other way around. It's almost like the citizenry is surveilling authority in ordinary citizens taking videos of police, of military, and that stuff getting out very, very. Do you think that, how does that play into the story you're trying to tell? I mean, how do you talk about surveillance when the ordinary citizen is also doing surveillance on the other side?
His question was, how do you tell a story about surveillance when a lot of the ordinary citizens are now filming everything and a lot of stories are breaking because of that?
It's clearly a really weird time already now. What happened in Ferguson, clearly, there's almost no point now where there's an altercation with the authorities where someone doesn't whip out the cell phone and take a picture or video of that. And I think it's changing the landscape entirely for law enforcement, and that they're now talking about all policemen carrying rappel cameras at all times. Every time they stop, everything's going to be recorded. And I think, oddly enough, we're all getting used to it. So I think it'll be good in some aspects, but there's also always the downside of losing privacy completely. The problem, I think, that we have with once a right is taken away, you're never going to get it back. And I think when everyone's aware that they're constantly being recorded or videotaped, it changes their behavior accordingly. And I think there's a fantastic TED Talks on this, on the end of privacy. And what was kind of scary is one of the guys on the panel was saying that, you know, Orwell was too optimistic. It's kind of frightening, but here we are.
Do you think that could be something that could be reflected down the line, maybe on person of interest?
No doubt. I think that there's a great episode that we could do where someone has been wrongly portrayed as a perpetrator by a citizen taking a video or portraying or even using Photoshop to alter the perception of what actually happened.
Thank you very much. Next question over there.
I'm probably just that one 16-year-old that drinks tea like an 8-year-old on Tuesdays and wants person interest, so yeah. And I think Finch and Velma is a sweet thing. But I just wanted to say, like, I'm a little about Reese's identity, like, and his new identity. I was curious how he was able to be like a detective, because, you know, he's like the man in the suit and stuff, and like, it's hard to get like a new identity, you know? Like, I don't know, I'm just curious about
Roots, that good. How did Reese get the cop identity? Having been the man in the suit, having been like that wanted, how could he have gotten this new identity as a cop?
Well, I think all the rules that we set up this year was that Root had installed software into the servers of Samaritan, where it can't actually recognize our guys' faces, or when it does, it immediately glitches back to what it believes their persona is. So Reese, or his alter ego, Detective John Riley, is free to conduct himself as a detective.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Robert, and I'd like to think that your show is probably the smartest show, certainly on broadcast television and maybe on all television. So thank you very much. My question, I guess, is sort of a follow-up to the last two. When the fact that the police, whether it's in Ferguson or some here in New York, seem to be acting out of bounds, and we're talking New York, are you going to try and reflect that in the fact that that Reese is now, officially speaking, a police officer? And I know Fusco sort of touched on it, but the things that he was able to do before, when he was a kind of a free agent, blowing off people's kneecaps and things like that, it has a whole different implication now that he's an official member of official authority.
Yeah, Jim gets in a little bit of hot water as a detective for shooting people.
I've been getting reprimanded every episode this year.
We think it's going to be extremely difficult for him to do his job the way he would like to. In fact, what we wanted to do the lapel cameras in the season premiere when it comes out from the Flash and back. But we couldn't get those cameras set up in time. But it's definitely something that Internal Affairs is going to take notice of. And we'll be seeing Detective John Riley sent to the shrink.
Thank you very much.
How will Detective John Riley take to that shrink?
You shall see.
Is he going to be crying by the end of it on the couch?
It's pretty emotional.
Next question.
Hi, I am Mary. I would like to hello from Europe and Estonia, France. And my question is for Jim. Can you tell us if you have and use Facebook and Twitter account? Because some people pretend they are you.
Are you actually on Twitter or Facebook? Or there are people saying they're Jim Caviezel?
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do about it, but no, I'm not on any account. It's actually me, and thanks for blowing it. I appreciate that.
All right. So recently, it was released that Law & Order SVU is going to be doing a crossover episode with a couple other shows. So my question to you guys is, if you could do a crossover, what show would it be and why?
Is everything on the cable, like any channel?
Sure.
I'll take it from last. That would just be good, right?
I think it should be Veep, and we should have Jonah and Veep become controls assistant.
Anyone else?
Yeah, again.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Anna. My husband and I love your show. We never miss it if we can help it. I think you're a fantastic ensemble cast, and we're extremely proud that you film here in New York. We have a lot of fun identifying where you're possibly filming. I know you did one episode that was supposed to be in Las Vegas, and I believe it was the Astoria Manor, which is where we live close by. So I just wanted to say we love the show, we love Bear, and I have a little gift for Mr. Caviezel. It's a rosary that I handmade, and I've already had it blessed. We admire you as a man of true integrity.
Thank you, ma'am.
Another check.
Hi, my name is Micah, and my question is for Kevin Chapman. So you get to say a lot of nicknames for all the characters, and we love them. And do you get to make them up, or are they in the script? Like Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs?
That was David Slack. I wouldn't take credit for that. That was David Slack, who was one of our writers.
And I also have a gift for Jim.
Hold on a second. I get the question, he gets a gift.
But I was packing everything.
It was my birthday.
All right. Oh, thank you. The last question, is that the Joker?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Ledger's Joker.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Ryan. Sorry, I don't have a present on me. Okay, first
Joker's
off,
presents aren't usually great.
But yes, you can't have a kiss from Jim. Come on now.
well, first off, me and my family, we love the show. We watch it all the time. We never miss it. My question is, on the last episode, we saw that Harold still doesn't trust the machine, but when Ruth actually helped him get some money and showed him that the machine's been having Ruth collect all machinery and money, does he still actually trust the machine, or is he still skeptical about trusting it at all?
Well, he has an uneasy relationship with his creation, his child. And I don't think he's surprised when the machine does amazing things. That was always the idea. I think he's still uncertain about the ethics of all of that. He's